Let me read to you a passage from the second chapter of St. Luke's Gospel, verses 36 to 40. It's the Gospel for the 6th day in the Octave of Christmas, December the 30th. St. Luke writes, "There was also a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asher. She was very old. She had lived with her husband 7 years after her marriage, and then was a widow until she was 84. She never left the temple, but worshipped night and day, fasting and praying. Coming up to them at that very moment, she gave thanks to God and spoke about the child to all who were looking forward to the redemption of Jerusalem. When Joseph and Mary had done everything required by the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee, to their own town of Nazareth. And the child grew and became strong. He was filled with wisdom, and the grace of God was upon him." That's from Luke chapter 2, verses 36 to 40. What does it suggest to us? Well, it suggests, among other things, the figure of Anna the prophetess. You know, one of the distinguishing features of a civilization is usually its literature. Writings, inscriptions, scrolls and books are pivotal to the culture of a people, and indeed to the life of the mind in all the world. Within the family of writings of most literary cultures, a high place is occupied by the holy books. From the early Vedas of Hinduism, the Zend-Avesta and Pahlavi texts of Zoroastrianism, to the Hebrew scriptures of Israel, the Bible of Christianity, and the Quran of Islam, the holy books are of immense importance. The Christian views the Old and New Testaments as the inspired record of the Word of God and a divinely intended instrument enabling him to know and love the Lord of Lords, Jesus Christ. But, living in any one of a vast number of cultures, and some 2 millennia since the last of the writings of the Bible, he finds many difficulties in the reading of it. There are many difficulties in reading parts of the New Testament, such as the book of Revelation, and there are many difficulties in reading parts of the Old, such as in many of the prophets. Perhaps the simplest to read is the most important part of the entire Bible, the 4 Gospels. They present the person and teaching of the key and purpose of the inspired scriptures, Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the only name under heaven by which men might be saved. But how is the rest to be understood and read? The rest of the Bible. The Old Testament consists of a remarkable array of literary genre from different centuries before Christ. Is there a way of encapsulating the lot and gaining a light with which to read it? Well, my suggestion is that this be done by means of images rather than simply concepts. That is to say, by means of an image, the essential concepts can be brought to bear on the corpus of inspired writing. One such image is that which figures in our Gospel today that I read earlier, the image of Anna the prophetess, who comes upon the Christ child and gives thanks to God for him. What a beautiful soul, Anna. Married for a few years in her early womanhood, her husband had passed from this life. For the rest of her very long life, very long indeed for those times, she spent her days in the service of God. She had been an instrument of the Lord in making known his word and his will, for she was known to utter prophecy. She was a minor prophet in the history of the chosen people, and one of the last. She was now 84 years of age, and she never left the temple, but worshipped night and day, fasting and praying. The fact that St. Luke gives these precise details about her suggests that Mary, the mother of Jesus, had known her quite well. Perhaps Anna had known the parents and grandparents of Mary, and perhaps She, Anna, had been honored by them. Anna immediately approached Mary and Joseph in the temple where Anna herself resided. But consider the figure of Anna. She was a magnificent specimen of the chosen people of God, holy and given over to the work of the Lord. Her whole life was imbued with the divine revelation vouchsafed to God's people, and she looked forward to the coming of the Messiah, as did Simeon, who was already at this minute with Mary, Joseph and the child. Anna is an embodiment of the religion of the Old Testament. If we wish to have a picture of the Old Testament as it prepared for the New, well, think of Anna. We may be sure that all that God expected of his people prior to the coming of the Messiah was instanced in the person of Anna. She was an instance of it. Anna was a fallen member of our race, of course, but due to God's Spirit and her own generosity, she had attained holiness of life. And it was the holiness of the Old Testament. It looked forward to Christ, and Anna, led by the Spirit, exulted that the Messiah had come. I repeat, if we wish to understand the meaning and the drift of the Old Testament and its relation to the New, look to such a figure as Anna, as she comes upon the Holy Family and gives thanks to God for what she now beholds. She is an image of the Old Testament as it looks forward to the New, exulting and giving thanks that the New now has come, the New being Christ. As we contemplate Anna the prophetess, our gaze turns to the jewel of jewels, Jesus Christ. He is held by his Holy Mother, his most holy Mother, and his saintly foster father Joseph. Both are young, and they are at the threshold of a marvel that's about to unfold. Anna brings before us the Old Testament. Jesus and Mary and Joseph present us with the New. The entire company, including Simeon, is an image of the entire Scriptures, which is to say, all of God's revelation. Let us join Anna in giving thanks to God for Jesus Christ and for being called to live and die in him. He is our salvation and our glory.